She was born in silence. No fanfare. No title. Just a girl with eyes too deep for her age, and a name whispered only in safe places, Hadassah. But in the courts of Persia, they would come to know her by another name, Esther. When the king's edict echoed across the empire, "Bring me beauty," the daughters of the land were gathered like petals for a crown. And among them, a Jewish orphan from a forgotten corner of the world. She didn't chase the throne, but fate came for her anyway. Behind the palace walls, another voice stirred, Mordecai, the man who raised her like his own. He didn't speak of revolution. He spoke of responsibility, of identity, of purpose, even when the world told them to stay invisible. And then there was Haman, draped in power, drenched in pride, a man who couldn't bear to be looked at without reverence, especially not by a Jew, especially not by Mordecai. And so he did what men like him always do. He turned bruised ego into bloodshed. "They are different," he told the king. "They do not obey." And with the scratch of a pen and the seal of a ring, a death sentence was signed for an entire people. The scrolls were unrolled. The date was set. And at the palace gates, Mordecai wept. Not with weakness, but with fire. Esther saw him, and the choice waiting at her feet. "Perhaps," he told her, "you were born for this very hour." She fasted. She trembled. And then she walked. Across the stone floor of a kingdom where even queens could die for speaking uninvited. Each step a rebellion. Each breath a prayer. And then the scepter rose. Mercy was granted. But she wasn't done yet. She invited her enemy to dine. She dressed in grace. And when the moment came, she didn't raise her voice, she simply said, "I am one of them." With those 4 words, the palace shook. Haman begged. But pride has no allies in the end. And the gallows he built for another became his throne of shame. But ink, once dried, cannot be erased. The decree stood. So they wrote another, one that gave the powerless the right to stand, to fight, to live. On the day death was promised, courage answered. The hunted became heroes. And mourning turned into music. Esther never asked to be a queen. But queens aren't made by crowns. They are made by the fire they walk through, and the people they refuse to abandon. And long after the scrolls were rolled away, her story still speaks, to the silent, the hidden, the afraid. For such a time as this.